Hello, people of YouTube. This is my vlog, and we are on day 43. That is to say, video 43. Who would have thunk it? Nearly halfway to 100, which I must say astonishes me. I can safely say I have astonished myself so far by keeping up this vlog for 43 videos consecutively, day after day, without fail. And like I said, I'm going to introduce every video with the number up until at least 100. And then after 100, I will make it a bit more casual in that I'm not going to introduce every single video stating that it's a vlog, because hopefully by that point it is fairly obvious that a daily unedited video where I'm just talking to the camera about my thoughts, what I've done, what I'm going to do, that kind of thing, it should be obvious that it's just a vlog at that stage. And if it's not obvious, then hopefully you find this video in the future stating that all the videos from 101 onwards won't have a number on them, and they won't be introduced as the vlogging videos. They will just be naturally accepted vlogs. Now that I've got that spiel of bullshit out of the way, on the walk over to the gym. So I've just come back from the gym. It's only just gone 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is a nice, refreshing change of pace for me, given that the last couple of days, pardon me, the last couple of days I've been recording my vlog at around midnight, because the day is so chocker that I don't actually get round to doing anything for me, having my me time until 10, 11 o'clock at night. So, I had an early finish today, which was nice because I was fully expecting to still be working now. So I finished at about 10:30 or thereabouts, came home, went to the gym at about 11, just got home. So I had a good couple of hour session. And the good thing about going to the gym on a weekday in the middle of the day is that it is fairly quiet. Although it is school holidays at the moment. Why is my throat so groggy? Let me clear it out. It is the school holidays at the moment, so there were a number of school kids, i.e. teenagers, sort of hovering like bees around a hive or wasps around a nest, just kind of, getting in the way or making jokes about penises and farts, I suppose. I don't quite know what. So that's the only drawback of school holidays and going to the gym in the middle of the day. Apart from that, you pretty much have free reign of everything, which is nice because, once you walk into the gym and you establish dominance, i.e. picking up the heaviest fucking weight you can find, everyone quickly moves out of your way. So, that didn't take long. But moving back to what I was saying, on the walk over to the gym, I had a thought. And it's the phrase, be obsessed or be average, which is not something I've come up with. It's just something that's, for the last maybe 24 to 48 hours or more, has started resonating with me. So it transpires where I found this phrase is that it's actually a title of one of Grant Cardone's books, and it's called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And when I first came across this book title, or the phrase or the notion of you have to either be obsessed or be average, it didn't make any sense to me. I didn't quite get it. I didn't understand why there had to be these two almost polar opposites, these two extremes. You either have to be obsessed with something or you will just be average. Now, I haven't read the book yet. I probably will eventually, because the premise of it sounds quite interesting, and it seems to align with what I'm going to say next. And also the fact that I've got a catalogue now of the best part of 20, 25, 30, maybe more books to get through. So much so that at the moment I am reading 1, 2, 3 books with a fourth one that I aim to start either later tonight or tomorrow. And I just finished reading another book last night, so yeah, my reading speed and everything like that is ramping up. Yeah, so be obsessed or be average. And the reason I didn't understand it before, like I said, because the two ideas, obsession and being average, seem like opposites. They don't seem like they're two sides of the same coin, if that makes sense. It's a bit like there has to be middle ground. But the middle ground, after giving it some thought, the middle ground is also just being average or being like average plus plus kind of thing. And if you want to really be great at something, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to be obsessed with the topic or the background or the technicalities or doing it on a daily basis, creating habits for doing something. It has to turn to obsession essentially. And I I think recently the reason this phrase is resonating with me is because that's how I seem to go through life, picking up things. Although in the last probably 10 years, it's been a good 10 years now, where I have been sailing through or just sailing by or skating by or whatever, and I've been very average. Everything I've done, I've been average. There have been a few small things where I've slightly excelled at, but nothing worth writing home about. So yeah, I've been very average, and it was recently 43, 44, 45 days ago that this new obsession in me was spurred on. And the obsession is with personal development at the moment. I say at the moment, I'm learning that this is something that you cannot just make it a phase of your life. If you want to be better at anything, especially if you want to be better at life, if you want to be healthy, wealthy, and just have a generally improved well-being, then you need to be on that personal development journey for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not saying that means you have to work for the rest of your life. No, you just have to never sit still, never go backwards, essentially. So, yeah, what I've learned in the last, obviously, 43 days now, is that if you want to do anything and you want to be great at it, you have to become obsessed with it. And yeah, like I've been saying, with me buying books faster than I can read them, that's because I have found this new obsession, this new addiction with personal development, self-help, psychology, marketing, business, etc. books and the information that they hold. Because quite frankly, up until probably 6 months, maybe a year ago, I thought that most books of that nature were essentially voodoo bullshit. I thought genuinely that it was just people trying to sell their wares, much like a novelist would trying to sell their story. Now, obviously, novelists and such and non-fiction writers, no, not non-fiction, fiction writers, have a different angle. They genuinely have stories in their head that they want to share with people, which is great because I have read maybe only a handful of fiction books, and at least 3 of them have been fairly epic. So some authors really do hit the nail on the head, and so much so, even my wife's currently reading a book that was recommended on a whim to her by someone in a bookshop, and she was like, okay, whatever, I'll pick it up. It's on a 2-for-1 deal, so she picked that up, and another book that seemed of interest. And she can't put the bloody thing down. So obviously there is an author who has a story in their head that works so well that it just remains compelling all the way to the end. So yeah, anyway, I'm digressing from these books, let's call them the self-help category of books. I genuinely thought it was all crap until I realized that the majority of them actually just repeat the same 5, 6, 7 or thereabouts steps, instructions, or key points. And that might sound a bit like, oh, in that case, if you've read one book, then you've read them all, surely. Maybe, to an extent, possibly, you could dumb it down to that level, but what you're missing then is the intricacies that each author and each new experience, or each experience that the author had, adds to that step or that instruction or whatever. So I'll refer again back to the YouTuber and drummer, interestingly, Clark Kegley, who says in one of his videos that in one of his piles of books, or in 1 year when he read through something like 300 books, he learned exactly 3 lessons from those 300 books. And the reason he only learned 3 lessons was because all of them basically said the same thing. The difference was that each author had a different take on how to do it. So it gives you different angles, different case studies as such for how to do certain things. And eventually you'll find an angle or a case study or an example that resonates with you, and you become enlightened, essentially. And I think that's what happened to me when I heard of Hal Elrod's story when he was writing the Miracle Morning book, a book which I have since acquired. It is obviously on my list of to reads, depending on how quick I get through this next bunch. I'm hoping to start reading that in the next maybe 2 weeks or so. It's not a massive book, so I should hopefully get through it quite quickly. But going back to an author's story resonating with you and you becoming enlightened or whatever, yeah, a lot of what he said resonated with me, and there was quite a few things that he was able to nitpick, and immediately it just opened my eyes, and I just thought to myself, Jesus, why haven't I seen it like this before? Because no one else has pointed it out like this before to me, you know? Like, I've read excerpts of some books from Tony Robbins, or Anthony Robbins as he now goes by, and I've seen some of his seminars, etc. Not in person, like videos of his seminars, and much of what he says is similar to what every other self-help guru says, but a lot of what he says doesn't resonate with me, so that's why I've never really clicked. Similarly, when it comes to business-oriented stuff, etc., I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. I've read a couple of his books and listened to 2 or 3 of his audiobooks as well, and it all makes sense, but it's yet to get to that point where I think, aha, this is what I'm going to do. Like, his instructions are very clear, though, I must say. You know, he does put it in plain English, and he's just like, don't be an idiot, do this, do that. It's going to work. It just takes time. Simple as that, which, yeah, fair enough. But again, there are some authors who basically speak the same message, but have twisted it, or not so much twisted it, but let's say realigned it to resonate with me, and I can see it from my own viewpoint where I'm like, okay, now I know why so and so said A, B, and C, whatever. Yeah. I think I've talked enough there. So, what? Yeah, be obsessed or be average. Yeah, obsession is not a bad thing. That's what it comes down to. Obsession is purely your commitment to wanting to be better at something. Simple as that. You know. Yeah, obsession is a good thing. If it it helps build habit, it helps build discipline to do something. So, like I said, this obsession with personal development, I've been recording the videos or recording a vlog for, this is now 43 of them consecutively. That's the longest I've ever done anything that I've said I'm going to set out to do. Similarly, I've been writing or journaling or doing some sort of written research every single day now for, well, once I've done it today, it'll be 43 days. I just haven't done it yet today, but I've already got some ideas sort of playing in my head that I do want to get down on paper. And with reading as well, there have been a few days where I didn't get around to reading or I just wasn't feeling like it, but I almost feel like I'm making up for that now because, like I said, I'm reading 3 or 4 books at a time, not like physically with all of them in front of me. I mean, I read one book in the morning when I get up, then I'll read another one later on in the day, say at lunchtime, and then another one I'll read in the evenings before I go to bed. So, and I'll just read like 2, 3, 4, however many chapters at a time of each one. And the good thing about reading non-fiction books, this one's very thin, so yeah. Good thing about reading non-fiction books, also it's signed by the author. So that was a charity shop find. That was, I opened it up, I was like, wow. What was I saying? Yeah, non-fiction books, reading them, obviously there's no storyline to keep track of. So it's not like a fiction book where you're following a story or a timeline and then you have to basically remember where you are. Where, you know, if you were reading a fiction book and you start reading multiple, you might get confused or your memory might get a bit hazy about which storyline goes where, which character is part of which story, etc. Whereas with non-fiction books and informational books, it's all information that you're wanting to take in. So the more you can present to yourself, the more you're going to take in. You know, they're not really narratives. So they're essentially reference books. So yeah, with the exception of introductions in most of them, that's the only narrative part I've found so far. Yeah, but that makes sense because every author wants to, you know, establishes why. Why should you listen to me? Why am I writing this? Why am I telling you this? That kind of thing, you know. Like Simon Sinek says, start with why, and then take it from there. That's again another book that I've yet to read. So, yeah. Anyway, I've been babbling on for long enough now. That has been video 43. I hope you have found some value if you've watched all the way to the end. Thank you very much. If you haven't, well, then you won't be hearing this message. So thank you for watching it all. Thank you for clicking on the video. Leave a like, be sure to subscribe. Anything you want to know more about specifically, do leave a comment down below. Or if for instance you've come across a book or you've been recommended a book and you know that I either have read it or I may be reading it, or it might be somewhere on my to read list. If if you want a review of said book or to kind of give you a breakdown of it, gladly. Yeah. Right, I'm out of breath and my mouth's dry. I'm going to go now. I will see you tomorrow for day 44. Yeah, peace out.